Amidst biting impact on businesses, organized labor suspends strike by 5 days. President Tinubu directs finance minister on new minimum wage template in 48 hours. Nigerians groan over skyrocketing food prices. On the international scene, 7 more bodies discovered as exhumations continue in Kenya's polar forest. Hello and welcome to the News Hour on Trust Television. I am Aisha Salihu. Organized labor, comprising the Nigeria Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress, has suspended their strike for 5 days. A leader of the NLC said this in Abuja. The centers are expected to issue a statement shortly before the commencement of negotiations with the government. Reports say that after a 6-hour meeting with the leadership of organized labor in Abuja, the federal government expressed the commitment of President Bola Tinubu to raising the 60,000 naira offered as the minimum wage.
The government is committed to moving beyond 60,000. Prior to now, even there was a challenge on why by some subnationals on why should you even agree on 60. And they were quarreling among themselves why it should be 60. Some of them didn't even agree. Well, the outcome of yesterday's deliberation shows that they are committed to moving beyond that. So it's like they have given a framework.
And now joining us via phone is Benson Upa, Head of Information and Communication, Nigeria Labour Congress. Okay. We do hope he joins us on the News Hour tonight. Now, away from that, President Bola Tinubu on Tuesday received a briefing from a delegation of the federal government regarding the discussions with organized labor on the new minimum wage. The meeting had in attendance the federal government's team on the tripartite committee on new national minimum wage. The meeting with the president was held an hour before the resumption of negotiations between labor and government shortly after the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress announced the suspension of their industrial action to allow for further negotiations with the government.
Like I've said earlier, government is not against, it's not an opponent of labor discussions, it's not an opponent of wage increase. But what is there is that government is always desirous of ensuring that there is a balance between what government pronouncement is and what the realities are on ground. And therefore, we'll work assiduously to ensure that whatever we do, whatever promises the government makes will be kept. That's the idea of this meeting. The president has given a marching order that all those who have negotiated on behalf of government and all those also who are representative of other sectors, the organized private sector, the subnationals, come together so that we can have a new wage award that is acceptable, that is sustainable, and that is also realistic for Nigeria. A wage award is not just that of the federal government. Like I mentioned earlier, the subnationals are involved, the organized private sector is involved, the labor is involved. It was labor that staged a step out during those proceedings. Now that we have come back to the negotiating table, all of us will work together again assiduously within the next 1 week to ensure that we have a new wage for Nigeria that is acceptable, that is sustainable, that is also realistic for all Nigerians.
Meanwhile, the Senate, at its resumed hearing on Tuesday, frowned at the actions of the organized labor who shut down the national grid as part of its nationwide strike over the new national minimum wage. While speaking on the effects of the 2-day strike, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, said it is unacceptable for labor to prevent the airlift of pilgrims on Hajj to Saudi Arabia and preventing Nigerian students from sitting for their scheduled West African Senior Secondary examination. Following the suspension of its nationwide strike, cold room operators in Kaduna State are recounting their experience from the total blackout across the country. The power supply cut had a negative impact on business operations as most rely on the national grid for energy. Trasivis Bello Musa has more on the story.
Butchers, drinks and fruit sellers deposit their meat yogurt, and the likes here for preservation. Though the strike has been suspended for 5 days, the operators are recounting their losses. To be honest, we found ourselves in a difficult situation. This is the third time we are experiencing power cut due to strike. Whenever it happens, we lose our meat product due to spoilage. When the strike entered its second day, they had to shut down the cold room. In the morning, we call our clients to come collect their beef meat and chicken so that it will not go bad. Though they have a standby generator that can serve the cold room, they can't afford operating on generator for longer hours due to high energy cost. Today, I bought a liter of diesel at the rate of 1,230 naira. If we are to use generator for the cold room, in a day, we will spend 100,000 naira on diesel in particular. They are appealing to the government and the organized labor to have a fruitful negotiations within the next 5 days for the betterment of not only their members, but Nigerians in general. Bello Musa, Trust TV News Kaduna.
Price of Irish potatoes has skyrocketed as a bag of 50 kg sells for 120,000 naira at Yandoya Market, located in Jos North local government area of Plateau State. The state is one of the areas that produces potatoes in commercial quantities and supply to neighboring countries such as Niger, Cameroon, Chad, among others. However, this year, the commodity is scarce even in the producing state. Adomusa completes the report.
In contrast to previous times when the market consistently attracted buyers from both within and outside the state, the market currently appears dry. Although the commodity can still be found in the market, sellers complain of poor patronage as buyers are deterred by the hike in price. Victoria Bulus is a potato dealer in the market. She explained the current price of the commodity in Jos.
In fact, I used to go to villages and buy the potatoes and bring it from the bush market, from the farmers direct, and bring it down here, the Yandoya market, and distribute it to the people that used to put it inside rubber pen and sell it. And so this year, this period particularly, the price of Irish shoot up. Before we used to sell this bag, the highest price during Ramadan period, we sold this same bag at the rate of 45, highest price 47 selected. And the size was even bigger than this size you are seeing here. But now for this time, right now, the price of Irish have shoot up. Now this one bag now that you are seeing here, the whole bag here, I brought 11 bags yesterday in the night. And so I was able to sell this Irish all. That one finished. I sold at the rate of 118,000.
What are the causes of the sudden price hike of the commodity?
The causes why the Irish is a bit high is because of the fertilizer and this crisis that happened some months back in Bokos, Mongo, and some local government. That's why the Irish is a bit up now.
One of the reasons is that things are very costly in the country. So what we are witnessing today is the multiplier effect of the inflation in the country. The situation is also affecting potato. The traders also suggest what can be done to salvage the situation.
The solution is only one. I think being the government will happen to the farmers, they will drop a bit the cost of fertilizer and some farm tools will pay that things will be okay.
If government will intervene by subsidizing fertilizer and other farming inputs, definitely a lot of farmers will go back to the farm and the price will also go down. But if you cultivate without getting money to purchase fertilizer, everything will become useless. Prices of goods and services increase day by day, with buyers and sellers decry the situation, calling on the federal government to rescue the crisis. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Following the prevailing hardship in the nation's economy, emo hairdressers and beauty care business owners are experiencing low patronage as Nigerians now stay away from patronizing certain services due to lack of money. After the Central Bank of Nigeria revoked the operating license of Heritage Bank, the bank's customers are lamenting how to recover their life savings deposited in the bank. Trust Service correspondent Mariam Haliru reports that the bank's branches in Kano are closed to customers who came to inquire how to recover their monies. Mariam's report is presented from our studio.
This is one of the branches of Heritage Bank in Kano, where customers from different parts of the state troop in to get some answers regarding their life savings. But they say no one was available to respond to them at this moment.
Yesterday, it was the day I heard that this bank got problems. I say, what? I never hear and I never noticed that there is any info. In fact, I don't have any information about the closing of the bank before yesterday.
No, I should come and check because I heard the story yesterday that the bank has locked and I have money inside and my life savings is in this bank. So I don't know what to do. Please, they should just help us to open so that we collect our money.
According to the Nigeria's Apex Bank, Heritage Bank's inability to improve its financial performances threaten its financial stability. Hence, the need to revoke the bank's license, which the customers say they are now paying the price.
I don't know. I said, let me come and check. Maybe I can see one of the manager and know what happened with my money. That's why I come here. So they say they have strike or something. So I don't know. Please, you people should just help us. We have to have small money here and know what to do.
No message. I haven't gotten message from anybody. So now, what step will I take in order to reach them? Because I'm the one that needed to reach them or to get their contact in order to inform them that yes, I'm one of the participants and one of the victims that the thing happens to.
Although the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation confirmed that it has commenced paying insurance benefit to the customers, but many customers say they have no access to the NDIC. Meanwhile, all attempts to speak with NDIC in Kano proved abortive, largely due to an industrial action by the organized labor.
Let's take you through the step-by-step process of accessing claims if you're one of the affected customers of Heritage Bank. Here is Trust TV's business correspondent Chiamaka Nendu with an explainer.
Many customers of Heritage Bank woke up recently to the shocking news of the revoked license of the bank by the Central Bank of Nigeria. And before the regulatory hammer fell on Heritage Bank, the Central Bank of Nigeria had said that the bank had continued to suffer and had no reasonable prospect of recovery, thereby making the revocation of the license inevitable. And this decision announced on Monday was in accordance with Section 12 of the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act of 2020. The central bank had appointed the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation as the liquidator of the failed bank. Meanwhile, the NDIC spokesperson Bashir Nuhu assured depositors in Heritage Bank that those with insured amounts of up to 5 million naira will receive their funds through alternate banks. And for depositors with funds exceeding 5 million naira, Nuhu explained that they would receive a liquidation dividend after the realization of Heritage Bank's assets and recovery of debt owed to the bank. And if you're wondering how customers can reclaim up to 5 million naira funds from the defunct Heritage Bank, here is how. 1. Visit the nearest Heritage Bank branch. Depositors without an alternate bank account should visit the nearest branch of Heritage Bank with proof of account ownership and a verifiable means of identification, such as a driver's license, a permanent voter's card, or national identity card, their alternate account details, and their BVN for verification and subsequent payment of insured sums. 2. File online claims. Depositors can also file claims online by visiting the NDIC website at www.ndic.gov.ng/claims, and they should download and fill out the forms and upload the required documentation. 3. Verification and payment of creditors. Creditors are advised to visit the nearest branch of Heritage Bank to file their claims or use the online platform. The NDIC emphasized that the payment process for creditors will commence immediately after all depositors have been paid. And 4. Debtors' repayment of loans. Debtors who have not yet repaid their loans are instructed to contact the NDIC's Asset Management Department for further details, which can be found on the NDIC's website. And those are steps on how you can reclaim up to 5 million naira insured funds from the liquidated Heritage Bank.
Away from that, and now to a sad development, at least one person has been reported dead, 7 others severely injured following the collapsing of the mining pit in Galadima Kogo, Shiroro local government area of Niger State. Reports say 30 other miners, including the site manager Alhaji Ibrahim Ishaku, were being trapped in the pit. The Director General, Niger State Emergency Management Agency, General of the agency, Alhaji Abdullahi Baba Ara, confirmed the incident, saying that the pit fell due to the rainfall that softened the soil. He said the mining site belonged to African Minerals and Logistics Limited. Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Zulum has described the threat of ISWAP terrorists against Kukawa residents as weak and seeking cheap popularity. He disclosed this during a visit to Baga town to discuss security strategies against displacement of communities and how to avoid reoccurrence. The report.
It would be recalled that Kukawa was attacked and threatened by ISWAP terrorists last week. The reported attack is the reason Governor Zulum visited the town to meet with military officers to discuss solutions to these threats, among others.
You may recall that displacement has not taken place in Borno State for the last 4 years, and under no circumstances we shall allow Boko Haram to displace our communities again. So I'm here to discuss the matter with the Nigerian army and then see how possible best we can avoid such situation that did not reoccur for the last 4 years. Yes, their strength are very weak, but they just want to, get cheap popularity.
The governor, while in Baga town, donated 10 golf cars, 15 tricycles to the National Union of Road Transport Workers and the Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria. He also presented 15 vehicles to the fishing community.
What we need is to support the farmers. And I've directed that the farmers will be profiled so that they should be given agricultural input. We shall support them through the World Bank supported program, which is AgriSal and NG Cares, in addition to what we have. But be rest assured that this community will regain its lost glory. Another very important thing that we have discussed is the issue of the waterways, the route from here to the Republic of Chad through the waterways. This has also been discussed with the naval component. So these are the main reasons that we are here. We are also here to support the Nigerian Union of Road Transport Workers and then other organizations that are here.
The governor thereafter visited the South Chad irrigation scheme to distribute farm inputs and subsidized petroleum products. Bitrus Kuruti, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
The multinational Joint Task Force said it has arrested 57 terrorists and 176 persons involved in terrorism activities who have surrendered during its operations at the Lake Chad region. The multinational Joint Task Force revealed this during its international press conference on the progress of Operation Lake Sanity 2 in Maiduguri. It added that during its operations in Doron Nera, Zanari, Bagadaza and other strongholds at the Lake Chad area, 6 soldiers were lost and neutralized more than 140 terrorists. The recovered weapons during its operations, which include 796 rounds of ammunition, PKM machine gun, 5 AK-47 rifles, motorcycles, and among others. The force commander of the multinational Joint Task Force, Major General Ibrahim Ali, said it's committed to ensure safe and secured environment in the Lake Chad region affected by Boko Haram and other terrorist groups. He said the MNJTF is working tirelessly to rid off the terrorists and restore peace in the Lake Chad region for affected communities to return to their ancestral homes.
The major challenge we are facing during this operation is, of course, the terrain. You know, the terrain in the Lake Chad Basin is very sandy, and it's not easy for our vehicles to traverse the terrain. Again, the area, you know, is littered with islands. So the challenge of crossing the water from one island to another, it's quite demanding. Another major challenge, which is operational to us, is the sustained and continuous use of improvised explosive devices. That all these challenges will not deter us from doing our work, restoring stability in the Lake Chad Basin region, so that the inhabitants of the area can go back to their normal life they used to experience, normal life of living, farming, fishing, herding, and what have you.
More on security matters. Police authorities in Kaduna State have arrested a 70-year-old man, suspected bandit, and 3 others in Zaria. The suspect, one Hussaini from Tudun Jukun in Zaria, was nabbed by operatives attached to Tudun Wada Zaria division, following credible intelligence information about his suspicious movement. Disclosing this in a statement on Tuesday, the State Public Relations Officer, Mansur Hassan, said an AK-47 rifle, a locally made pistol, and 3 cartridges were recovered from him. The police spokesman said the suspects, who have taken part in several kidnappings and cattle rustling in the zone, were arrested by a joint team of police operatives from Saminaka Division and local hunters in Lere local government area of Kaduna State. Police said the suspects confessed to being a part of a kidnapping syndicate in Lere local government area and admitted to stealing cattle. The Adamawa state government has successfully airlifted over 1,700 pilgrims with its inaugural flight to the Holy Land for this year's Hajj exercise. In this report, Sharif Al-Hassan reports that all the 1,708 Adamawa pilgrims have arrived Medina ahead of the Hajj rituals in Makkah.
Adamawa State Muslim Pilgrims Welfare Commission began the 2024 Hajj operation on the 1st of June 2024 to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Governor Ahmadu Umaru Fintri secured a befitting hotel in Yola, which serves as their transit camp before the airlift. The chairman of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACON, Alhaji Jalal Ahmad Arabi, and his top management were in Yola to flag off the inaugural flights. While in Yola, the chairman paid a courtesy call on the SSG, Barrister Awal Tukur, before an on-the-spot assessment visit to the State Pilgrims Welfare Commission headquarters, the Lamido's Palace, and finally to the transit camp. The chairman seems satisfied and overwhelmed with the arrangement made so far by Governor Ahmadu Umaru Fintri, while calling on other states to copy from the Adamawa model of Hajj operations.
Beyond expression, I wasn't surprised with what we saw. Like I said, at different fora, we knew the headship and the management we're working with when it comes to preparations for Hajj in Adamawa State, and we're never disappointed. All those things that have been outlined based on the timeline we received from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to what we had discussed at various stakeholder fora with the state executives, none has been violated. They've been done and followed all through, to the extent that we will implore others to copy from what Adamawa has done in terms of organization and the success of the process.
Batch by batch, the fresh air buses conveyed the pilgrims to the airport tarmac for boarding, having gone through different security checks. The smiles on their faces shows how joyous they are to embark on this most important journey in Islam.
1,708 Adamawa pilgrims have been airlifted from here, Yola International Airport, to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for this year's Hajj pilgrimage. Most of them will be landing in Medina and some will be landing in Jeddah, depending on where the aircraft have been given slots to land.
The 1,708 Adamawa pilgrims who have arrived in Medina are to stay for 4 days, visiting major Islamic landmarks as enshrined in the Holy Quran and the Sunnah before heading to Mecca, the hub of the pilgrimage. From Medina, Sharif Al-Hassan, Trust TV News.
As Nigerians continue to grapple with economic hardship, a silent but dangerous trend is emerging, signposting a connection between the prevailing economic conditions with declining public health. A spike in cases of stroke and other ailments have been connected to the current economic slowdown in the country. Sumaya Abubakar has more on this.
A silent threat that is gaining ground in Nigeria is stroke caused by high blood pressure. According to the Nigerian Heart Foundation, the prevalence of hypertension in Nigeria is about 38.1% of the estimated population of 200 million Nigerians, which shows that 76.2 million citizens are hypertensive, with worrying increase in stroke cases, particularly among younger adults in Nigeria between the age of 30 and 79, which it described as very high. Experts links this rise to the nation's current economic downturn and the hidden health threat of high blood pressure. Dr. Brian and pharmacist Joy, both health experts, explain the dangers of high BP in the society.
So affording those basic needs, sleeping well, having a good job, it brings about rest of mind. So the economy has a big role to play. Yeah, if you ask me, I do agree that the economy has a big role to play.
Especially recently in Nigeria, yes. People have to think a lot of things, work, money, increase in everything. So yes, stress.
While some Nigerians check their blood pressure on a regular basis, others remain intentionally unaware as more cases emerge within the younger demographic.
I was meant to understand that it's an heredity or something of that nature. But on me, I check mine twice a month.
I normally heard about BP, but I don't know, because I guess I don't feel anything like that is disturbing me, so I don't know.
Early detection of high blood pressure is crucial as experts call for regular checkups.
You know, in Nigeria, we tend to assume that everything is fine and we don't even want to check out our problems. So it's very, very important to know your status of your health. When you know the status of your health, it helps you to find a solution to it, and it helps you to know the common things you're supposed to do even to prevent it.
Some pharmacies in Nigeria offer free or low-cost BP checks as their corporate social responsibility to encourage people stay in touch with their health regardless of the financial implications.
Putting this free charge, right, has really improved the rate at which people check, because before you hardly see people check, even making suggestion about itself, they have already countered the effect that no, but since it's free, they just assume it's free, nothing, it will take nothing. So I think it has really improved the services.
As the economic hardship bites harder, Nigerians call on the government to help put the right policies in place to ease the life of the masses.
The government should consider us, we the youth, because we are not finding it easy. And the way the country is going now is not in any way like favoring us.
With the increase of hypertension cases among youth, there is an emphasis on the importance of taking health care seriously with regular exercise and good diet.
A lot of people don't exercise. They don't, but they'll tell you, my office is on the 5th floor. It's not the same thing as exercise. You know, good health comes from the brain. Mental health goes a long way for good health, you know.
High blood pressure is a serious health concern, and economic hardship can worsen the risk. Sumaya Abubakar, Trust TV, Abuja.
And to matters of politics, the Independent National Electoral Commission has assured residents and all stakeholders that the next governorship election in the state would be free, fair and credible. INEC Resident Electoral Commission in the state, Mutiu Agboke, in a chat with Trust TV in Osogbo, said the commission has been developing strategies to curb all forms of electoral fraud during the 2026 governorship election in the state. He appealed to political parties to educate their supporters and followers to shun acts that may undermine the integrity of the electoral process.
Our political parties need education and re-education. We need to let them know that electioneering process is not just about election period. Before the election, there is need for all of them to engage their members, to engage their supporters, to talk about, against vote buying, to talk against violence, to let them know that the only person that will win an election is the one that is acceptable by the people. So, political education for the political parties is very, very important. Not only that, all our other stakeholders, the media must be engaged. INEC activities and the activities of the stakeholder must be reported correctly. And when we are reporting it, we must report some of those threats that are bedeviling the conduct of election. The major ones are violence, vote buying. Violence, vote buying. People must be told that the era of, destroying, the strength of an opponent to gain advantage has gone. Campaign to people and people will give you their mandate.
Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission said it has extended voters' registration for Edo and Ondo states, respectively, following a review meeting held with stakeholders. Registration was earlier slated to end on the 5th of June 2024 in the two states. A statement by the Commission said following appeals by stakeholders, the date has been extended from Thursday 6th to Sunday 9th June 2024 to allow more eligible persons to register. The Commission similarly extended the duration of the exercise from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily. The Commission said the exercise is progressing in the two states. It added that the majority of the 82,003 registered voters, representing 68.8%, are youth between the ages of 18 and 34 years. And to a sad development, 3 persons have died following a tanker that exploded in the Oberi-Ikwere flyover along the east-west road in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital, on Tuesday. The incident, which occurred in the early hours of Tuesday morning, involved a tanker carrying what is believed to be liquefied natural gas, which fell over, crashed the vehicle, and exploded while trying to navigate the roundabout. Confirming the incident in a telephone conversation, the police public relations officer, Grace Eringe Koko, said the victims were burnt beyond recognition when the tanker fell on the vehicle they were commuting in. She said the fire has been put out, but the area is still dangerous because the gas is still leaking. So, motorists are advised to take alternative routes to avoid any further casualty. The impact of the explosion was felt kilometers away as some of the residents said their windows were smashed, while others reported feeling the vibrations. At press time, men of the fire service were trying to put out the inferno, while a crowd of onlookers gathered around with heavy security presence. Also observed was mild drama when a suspected scavenger who tried to steal parts of the truck was apprehended by the crowd, who handed him over to the police. This latest explosion is coming a month after a similar tanker explosion occurred along the LMA axis of the same east-west road, which claimed 4 lives and destroyed over 60 vehicles. In a significant move to bolster the state's development agenda, Governor Umar Namadi has signed into law a supplementary budget of 85.4 billion naira alongside 6 additional bills recently passed by the State Assembly. The supplementary budget is aimed at enhancing critical policies and programs designed to drive transformational changes across Jigawa State.
During the signing ceremony held at the Government House in Dutse, Governor Namadi emphasized the administration's commitment to leveraging these funds to execute strategic projects that will have a lasting impact on the state's socio-economic landscape. The supplementary budget is expected to address various sectors, including infrastructure, healthcare, education, and agriculture, thereby stimulating economic growth and improving the standard of living of the people of Jigawa State. Specific projects outlined in the budget include the construction of new roads, the upgrade of healthcare facilities, enhancement of educational institutions, and support for agricultural initiatives. In addition to the budget, Governor Namadi also signed into law 6 other bills passed by the State Assembly. These bills encompass a range of issues critical to the state's development, including public health, education reform, and local government administration.
These all are in our journey to a greater Jigawa. These bills were all submitted to the Assembly by the Executive because we have seen that the need to establish new agencies and also to ensure for us to achieve our objective of having a greater Jigawa. These agencies are agencies that are necessary and that will definitely benefit the people of Jigawa State. Therefore, I want to use this opportunity to thank members of the Jigawa State House of Assembly for the speedy passage of these bills and for their commitment and for their cooperation in our journey to greater Jigawa.
Speaker of the Jigawa State Assembly, Honorable Idris Garba, commended the collaborative efforts between the legislative and executive arms, noting that the passage of the supplementary budget and accompanying bills reflects a shared vision for the state's progress. As the administration embarks on the ambitious development trajectory, stakeholders and residents alike are hopeful that a timely and effective implementation of these policies and programs will indeed transform Jigawa State into a model of sustainable development and inclusive growth.
The news hour will return shortly. Don't go away. Welcome back and thanks for staying. It's time now to join Yusuf Akogu for the business news.
Welcome to Business News. I am Yusuf Akogu. Naira has failed to make the list of representative exchange rates for selected currencies for June 2024, published by the International Monetary Fund (IMF). The list, which includes currencies from around the world, features several currencies from Africa, such as Algerian dinar, Botswana pula, Mauritanian rupee, and South African rand. This omission comes as Nigerian currency continues to face challenges, including fluctuating exchange rates and a struggle to maintain stability. Experts believe that the country's economic woes have been worsened by inflation, currency fluctuation, and declining foreign investments. The Presidential Fiscal Policy and Task Force Committee has unveiled plans to transition from monthly to daily disbursement of allocations across 3 tiers of government. This is in a bid to revamp the Federation Account Allocation Committee disbursement mechanism. The committee's chairman, Taiwo Oyedele, disclosed this while speaking at a public consultation workshop in Abuja on Monday. He emphasized the need to modernize the current system, which he linked to antiquated practices dated back to 1814. Under the proposed reform, FAC will adopt a daily disbursement strategy, a departure from the traditional monthly allocation meetings. He revealed that the plan reform has got the endorsement of key stakeholders, including Accountant General of the Federation. Equities market closed Tuesday trading in red due to profit taken by key investors. Let's see how it went down. Tantalizer PLC, closing negative there, 10% it lost to close at 45 kobo per share. International Energy Insurance, another insurance company there, 9.71% it lost to close at 1 naira and 58 kobo per share. UPDC PLC also down there, 9.70% to close at 1 naira and 21 kobo per share. Of course, this has dragged down the market by 0.07%. Volume of trade, 347.388 million shares, valued at 7.656 billion naira in a days of 8,102 did exchanges among investors this Tuesday on the floor of NGS. Some equities also did well. Leading that top trading equities is Veritas Capital, 59.174 million shares is traded. Fidelity Bank, 48.121 million shares. Of course, Wando Nigerian PLC, 27.956 million shares is traded at the close of business today. Some equities also recorded marginal gains despite the negative closure of the market. Leading that table is Nigerian Breweries. It gained 10% to close at 28 naira and 60 kobo per share. Owando PLC, 9.65% to close at 14 naira and 20 kobo per share. Of course, RT Briscoe also up there, 9.62% to close at 57 kobo per share. That's the highlight of stock trading as it went down this Tuesday on the floor of NGS. Let's see the global stock market and exchange rate data for today. Oil prices fall more than $3 on Tuesday on skepticism about an OPEC Plus decision to boost supply later this year into a global market where demand has already shown signs of weakness. At the London market, Brent crude sells for $77 per barrel. For the OPEC basket, dealers offered $81 per barrel. And that's business. I am Yusuf Akogu.
Thank you so much, Yusuf Akogu, for the business news. On the foreign scene, 7 new bodies have been found as exhumations continued in the Kenyan forest of Shakahola on Monday. As exhumations continued on Monday in a Kenyan forest where hundreds of victims of the doomsday cult were found buried last year, 7 more bodies were discovered. The total number of people unearthed from the mass graves now stands at 436. The government paused the exhumations last year to allow for DNA matching of the bodies. So far, only 34 of the victims have been identified. The first bodies were discovered in April 2023 in the Shakahola forest near the Kenyan coast, leading to the arrest of Pastor Paul Mackenzie, who is alleged to have led his followers to starve themselves to death in order to meet Jesus. Mackenzie has pleaded not guilty to 191 counts of murder, manslaughter, and terrorism. He has also been charged with child torture and cruelty. The case shocked Kenya, a largely Christian nation, and brought attention to the lack of regulation of churches and cults. Still on the foreign scene, firefighters early Tuesday battled blazes across northern Israel as they continued to rage after being sparked the day before by rockets and drones that Hezbollah launched from. It's time now to join Adeni Ajishafe for the latest in sports.
The Nigerian women national basketball team, the Tigress, will begin their preparations for the 2024 Paralympics with warm-up games against Germany and Puerto Rico. Their first test comes up on 19th July when they face Germany at the Uber Arena in Berlin during the basketball festival. 2 days later, on 21st July, they take on Puerto Rico in a friendly match in France. The Nigerian Basketball Federation (NBBF) is looking to schedule additional games to prepare the team for a strong showing at the Olympics. The Tigers aim to advance beyond the group stage, having exceeded in their previous 2 Olympic appearances. At the Olympics, the Tigers will battle for a quarter-final spot in Group B alongside Australia, Canada, and host France. The team will also play warm-up matches during their training camp in Nigeria before heading to France. The women's basketball competition will hold at Stade Pierre-Mauroy, the Catalan Arena, in Paris from 28 July to 11 August 2024. And in boxing, heavyweight boxer Anthony Joshua Camp has initiated discussions for a showdown with competitor Daniel Dubois, slated for September 2024. Joshua anticipates stepping into the ring at Wembley Stadium on 24 September, having observed from ringside Dubois' triumph over Filip Hrgović in Saudi Arabia. Dubois promoter Frank Warren confirms that negotiations are underway. Dubois secured victory over Hrgović in the International Boxing Federation interim title bout, positioning himself favorably as the potential next mandatory challenger to Alexander Usyk. Ukrainian boxer Alexander Usyk has expressed desire to retain his IBF belt by avoiding being stripped, aiming to reserve the opportunities for an undisputed title when he faces Tyson Fury in their rematch on 24th December. Dubois could ascend to the status of world champion, paving the way for a title bout against Joshua should IBF opt to strip Usyk of his title. Dubois, also on a path to redemption, has secured 2 victories following his unsuccessful attempt to dethrone Usyk in 2023. Joshua, boasting a record of 4 consecutive wins, a 2-time unified world champion. Despite setback in successive defeat against Usyk, he has displayed a remarkable resurgence, claiming 3 stoppage victories in his recent bouts. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishape.
You are up to speed with some of the latest emerging and reimagined stories in Nigeria and beyond. And with that, we've come to the end of the news hour tonight on Trust Television. Do not forget, you can always follow us across all of our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentary. Thank you so much for watching. I am Aisha Salihu. Good night.